Hello and welcome to this YouTube tutorial of how to upload and distribute your release via Terrabyte Music. When your account is created, go to Catalog, go to New Release. I'm going to name this release Love Hurts, as this is by my artist myself, Mr. Lunny. So version would be like deluxe, edition, expanded, remixes, etc. etc. This release does not include none of those, so that is not needed. The language of the titles, which is basically your track title names. For this, it is English. The single type is going to be single because it is a single release. So a single is 1 to 3 tracks of less than at least 30 minutes. So the cover art should be at least 3000 by 3000, a perfect square, or maximum 5000. So basically, the bigger it is, the more better it is for streaming services. The release genre of this is pop and R&B. The contributor role primary artist is Mr. Onlywall. He's the contributor. He's also I'm also the producer. So the composer, for a release to be approved, it has to have the producer role, the composer, the lyricist. You can use all these other roles whichever is suitable for your release. So the composer is myself, which is Tom Taylor. I am also the lyricist, which is in other terms the writer of the song, who wrote the lyrics. A composer is the person who wrote the music, but the lyricist is someone who wrote the lyrics. I'm going to cut ahead in the recording to when the roles of which I need have been added. Okay, so now that the contributor role and names have been added, go ahead and select your label. If you do not have a label, there will be an option called undefined, or you can use our default label, which is Terrabyte Music Distribution, and your releases will go under our label on the services. UPC/EAN. The UPC is basically the code that tracks the release in stores. It's used for reporting of sales. If you do not have one, you can click the request a new UPC and our system will generate one. But I already have one for this release, so I can go ahead and apply that there. The licenses is basically the day the release is is for the publisher line, the C line, and for the release dates. So for this release, I'm going to be selecting 10th of January. The original release date is the same. So with the release time, these are for where it says release time. This will be for certain stores like Spotify. Certain stores will accept releases to go live at specific time instead of at once in one store. So say if you want it to go at 5 p.m. on a Friday, on Spotify, it will go live on Spotify at that time. So the copyright holder. So basically the copyright holder, as you can see, indicated here. So for this, and that can be the same for the phonograph. The year, so I'll change them to 2025. Territories, if you don't edit these, your release will go live worldwide. And your category is basically the release pricing you wish to have on the stores. I'm going to skip premium. Next we go on to tracks. So from here, we'll go from computer. Right. So obviously, where it says from catalog, if you're going to be releasing an album, say if you've released a single of a track, you use some catalog and it will copy all that track information to that album. So all the sales will transfer over to the album, as well as the information, as well as the ISRC. The ISRC is an important section we'll get into in a minute. So I'm under the edit track, and here it says Love Hurts. We don't need that. This will stay the same, so this is all copied from the album area, which is fine. So the explicit content is, if it's not explicit, but this is not an explicit release. So the ISRC, if you do not have one, just click the request new ISRC and that will be generated once your release has been approved. Now we're on to the other section, so I'm going to name it Love Hurts, and then the version, because it's a different version of the track, but it's technically the same track. And then obviously it's going to be the same with the ISRC. You just do a new one. So you never use the same ISRC for the same song. You always have to request a new one unless it's the exact same recording. That area is done. So now you go on to review and distribute. Here you can see all the information you need about a release, and it will tell you if everything's fine. Here, if there is a track issue, it will come up with like a little triangle with a yellow exclamation mark telling you if the track audio has been matched to another release. If it's not got that, then it will be fine distribution. Once everything here looks good, you can go ahead and click distribute this release. Once that is done, click the request distribution. It will then create an export for the QC department, who will review your release, and once that is done, will come up approved in green. That's how you know if your release has been submitted. Once your release is submitted and it has been sent to stores, your release will start to generate sales, and 2 to 3 months later, you will get your sales under the royalties tab. Thank you very much for watching.